Hello and welcome along. Thank you for joining us today. Match day -1, Atalanta Celtic. Match day 3 of the Champions League group stage, 24-25. We have Gian Piero Gasperini and Pasalic. You can ask one question to the coach, one question to the player. Name, surname and who you're representing, and please raise your hand. Good morning to both of you. Coach, the recent victories in Serie A, how much motivation do they give you? To Mario, what does the UEFA Champions League anthem mean to you, and what does it give to you ahead of the game? It's always wonderful to be taking part in this competition. It's the biggest competition in football. It's always nice to hear that Champions League anthem and play these kind of matches. In recent years, we've played these kind of matches. We've played big games. Tomorrow's another one of those. We've done well so far in the first 2 match days of the Champions League. Tomorrow, let's hope we can win and take a step forward, and looking ahead, and who knows, play the knockout stages. In the league, the past 2 wins have improved our position in the league table, but this is a different competition. We need to get that into our mindset right away. As Mario has said, we've had 2 positive results so far in the Champions League. This is match day 3. Points start to mean prizes and be more important. We have the big chance to improve our position, consolidate our position in the standings. Next question. A question for the coach. Every game is a challenge. Considering the characteristics of Celtic, do you expect more of a battle or an open kind of game? I hope that it's a nice game of football, open brand of football, as they should always be in football. Of course, there's always a competitive side to it, within the rules of the game, of course. We're used to taking on teams with these characteristics. It's going to be an open game, I think. Celtic is a team that tries to score and tries to play attacking football. They've dominated the Scottish League for years, and they're used to playing to win games. They have fast players. We need to be at our very best, and we have to try and, of course, win the game. Next question now. A question for the coach and Mario Pasalic. Celtic won their first game heavily and then lost the second game heavily. How do you take on and prepare a match like this against a team which has had contrasting results? As for Mario, you've got some impressive statistics and numbers considering your Atalanta career. Do you think about the history books and records and statistics? I don't think about this, and I never thought about. I just think about myself. I have belief in myself and try to do my best for the team. When you reach important objectives and milestones, it's of course very nice. And you look at the list of players that have reached these kind of numbers, it makes me very proud, because we're talking about some very special players. It makes me very proud. And I hope to score even more goals and do even better. But let's focus on tomorrow first of all and getting the 3 points. You need to be careful when we're talking about the Champions League, because there's some top teams Whereas against the top team, if you perhaps get your approach wrong, you can concede a lot of goals. We've seen these kind of contrasting results so far as a result. So we will be taking into account the past 2 matches Celtic played, but all the other games, such as the ones in the league as well. Atalanta would never underestimate an opponent. Celtic, especially in attack, a very dangerous side, very fast, rapid team. As I've said, they're used to winning, and they're used to winning well. We need to be very attentive if we want to win this game, and to do so, we'll have to put in a very good performance. Question for the coach? A question regarding the injury situation. A question for Mario as well. The importance of the Champions League to Mario Pasalic and what it means to them. In the Champions League, you take on some top teams that play at the highest level, highest pace and intensity, and then it helps you then take that over to the Serie A, to the domestic league. It certainly helps us a lot when it comes to them playing domestically. We need to see how training goes today. We have an emergency in defence. Jen and Kolasinac. And we know about Scalvini and Toloi. Those are the two that will also determine the starting 11 and the defence tomorrow. Another question? Question for the both of you. Coach, an opinion on Retegui, saying he's scoring in every game, scoring with Italy, scoring for Atalanta. He's now just missing a goal in the Champions League. As for Mario, considering now that he's ahead of so many players in terms of Croatian players to have scored in Serie A, does he see himself as a forward now? I've played everywhere really, attacking midfielder, winger, forward. And I can even play in defence if necessary, joking aside, of course. In career, I have actually played as a defender. Spartak Moscow, I played a couple of games as a centre-back. Every position the coach asked me to play in, I always try to do my very best and give my all. I'm ready for anything. Enough with Retegui. I've already said everything about Retegui. We're all very pleased, but he can do even more. And he will do more, and he can still keep getting on better. Not necessarily in terms of the numbers of goals, look, he's already scoring a lot of goals, but for the rest, he can improve.
Hello, Michael Gannon, Daily Record from Scotland. Hi, coach.
Mister, buongiorno. Un'opinione, mister, su Brendan Rodgers e il suo stile di gioco, che è molto offensivo. Cosa ne pensa, mister, della sua filosofia di gioco e di calcio? E secondo lei il suo stile di gioco può essere adattato alla Champions? Yes, he is a very attacking coach, because if you're a team that wins a lot, you have to attack. They have to be balanced. In Italy, we say the best teams are the ones that have the best defense. But if I look at the numbers, it's actually the teams that also score a lot of goals. If you want to win, it's obvious you have to score. He coaches a top team in Scotland. It's the leading side in Scotland, the top team in Scotland. As for the Champions League, it's obvious, as I've said before, there's a lot of top teams. And it's the characteristic of each coach, each team. When we played Liverpool at home, we conceded for the first time 5 goals. Another time, 5 goals against City. But we learned from those experiences. We then picked up draws and then eventually went on to win those kind of games. You can never turn down and ignore your spirit, your style. You have to be true to that. And there's phases in which you grow as a result with that. There is no obvious solution to win. The Champions League is obviously at times exclusive to some of the top teams. As for our type of club, we never want to alter our approach, change our approach, but stick to our belief.
Grazie, Piero Vailati, Eco di Bergamo. Buongiorno mister, buongiorno Mario.
Coach, in recent years and recently, some of your colleagues, such as Martin Fonseca, have announced the starting 11. Will you one day announce the starting 11 ahead of the match? To Mario, as a player, do you prefer to know the starting 11 ahead of time, or keeping yourself on your toes and finding out towards the last minute, for example? I always want to play and start. That's my objective, to always be in the starting 11. But at times I start, at times I'm on the bench, and I accept the decision. I wait for my chance and give my all when the coach needs me and calls upon me. I want to give that little bit extra that the coach wants from his players. After hearing Fonseca and Monta giving the starting 11, I would have liked to have done that, but I'm not in a position to do that today. There's still a few situations that need ironing out. But before the final of the Champions, I hope that I can one day announce the starting 11 before a press conference. We always have the first sort of test a couple of days before each match. So it always gives you a couple of doubts going into the kickoff. Generally on the eve of the match, on the morning of the match at least, the players know who will be starting. Another question now? After the international break, many clubs have had struggled, especially the top teams who have players who have gone across the world for their international commitments. Do you feel your team has also had an impact negatively on this regard? As for Mario, this new Champions League format, does it mean that you maybe do a few calculations and look at the permutations of each match in the league table? Does it make you alter your approach, this new Champions League format? It's a new format for everybody. We're all trying to adapt. But it's football and always is football. It's the same kind of thing. Each match is unique. And each match you need to be 100%. Especially from the mental standpoint, you need to be ready. It's the same thing today. After Celtic, we'll need to think the next day, forget about it, move on, and think about Verona, our next match. After international break, it's always a bit problematic for lots of clubs. There's this habit after the end of the before the international break to go on a sort of training retreat, keep the players together, bring the players together again. It's always better to get the international break out the way and then focus again on the return of league action. But the international break is always difficult for our kind of club and lots of other clubs where players go away on international duty and then come back. For the clubs, it's not an ideal situation. It's not ideal to have these international breaks, this stop-start nature. It's not easy for the club and some elements of disturbance.
Buongiorno, Marina Bellotti, Corriere della Sera. Una domanda a testa a Mr. Gasperini.
Coach, there's an emergency in defence, and how is Godfrey's? Could he be an option for Mario? Looking ahead, do you have a personal objective that you want to reach this season? Thank you. No, no personal objective as such. I've already made some history at Venezia by becoming the top Croatian scorer in Serie A. I just want to help the team out, give my all. And if I can achieve something personal on the way, then that's great. The main thing is we win and keep on winning. Those that take to the pitch are the ones that I'll be able to choose and rely upon, and let's hope it goes well. Coach, you've taken on Arsenal, who are amongst the favourites for the Champions League, and you came away with a point. Is this the right spirit for the Champions League for Mario? When you hear the word squad rotation, does it frustrate you to come maybe in and out of the side? Can we hear the question again for the coach? It doesn't bother me at all. There's lots of games we play every 3 days. It's right that lots of players are involved. We have a strong team. Atalanta has reached a very high level. Everybody is able to play their part and help out. So it's not a problem for me, squad rotation. We always try to play with the right spirit, like we did against Arsenal. Sometimes we get it right, sometimes a bit less so. But the spirit has always been the right one, and we'll try to do the exact same thing tomorrow.
Hi, Coach. Robert Grieve from the Scottish Sun.
Buongiorno, mister.
You described Celtic as a dangerous team.
Ha parlato di Celtic come una squadra pericolosa. Ha qualche calciatore in particolare che le fa paura per domani e da tenere sott'occhio? Poi una domanda anche per Mario.
Contro le squadre del club della Scozia
Against the top teams in Scotland, I've never actually played against the Scottish side. I've played against them for the national team, for Croatia. That's all I really know about Scottish teams. The entire attack certainly is of concern. They're fast. They have obviously their attacking players, but also the midfielders join in as well with the attack. Wanting to be at our very best, very attentive. We'll have to try and handle their pace, their rapidity, and their ability to always score lots of goals. Celtic always tend to score and get into scoring positions.
Cavadini, sei la TV. A Gasperini chiedo tra
Coach,
la favola Atalanta e
the
dobbiamo vincere sempre,
Atalanta
dove
fairy
si
tale
dove lei si vuole collocare. E a Pasalic se la
for
prendiamo
Mario.
cittadinanza bergamasca definitiva per
Can you now become an honorary Bergamasco citizen?
Sto bene, sto molto bene qua.
I'm obviously very happy
Sono
here.
già 7 anni che sono qua.
It's 7 years that I've been here now at the club.
Ho detto che voglio trovare una squadra
When
dove
I joined this club, I said I wanted to be part of a club that
posso stare in un posto
that
per
makes
un po' più di
me
anni,
stay here for a long
prima di
time,
arrivare qua sono girato
because before in 5
paesi,
years I
ho
played for
tanto,
5 different
ho preso tanti
teams.
giocatori,
I played for different
adesso
clubs, had lots of
non so
different
neanche con chi ho
teammates.
giocato già, perché ho dimenticato, erano così tanti.
I've forgotten some of them because I played with so many different players. Here I've been very happy and I'm delighted to be here and stay in Bergamo.
No, ma la collocazione noi la scopriamo ogni anno.
We'll find out our level each year.
L'inizio della stagione,
at the start of the season,
quella che è la collocazione nostra attraverso le partite.
We find out our level as the matches go on and wear on.
Di altri giocatori. Difficilmente riusciamo a dare seguito.
It's difficult to build on the season prior.
O a ripartire con.
We've had to maybe rebuild.
Con le stesse situazioni. Le scopriamo poi giocando.
We'll find out as we go along.
L'Europa.
Now we're playing in Europe.
Sicuramente dobbiamo crescere ogni volta.
We have to keep improving each time and keep developing if we want to reach and aim for the highest levels. And perhaps it's one of the reasons why in the second part of the season we tend to do better. This year we're more on the same level and journey as last season. We've had a few ups and downs in the league, but the only negative result was at home to Como. In Turin, at Torino, we played well, and I think we've always put in some good performances in the league. As for the Champions League, as Mario has said before, it's the competition that helps us improve the most and take that over to Serie A. If we have the quality tomorrow and the ability to improve, matches like tomorrow help us make that leap in quality in Serie A. Final questions now, please.
Buongiorno, Michele De Brasis, oggi Sport e Notizie. Una domanda per il mister. Come sta
Question for the coach.
Lukman,
How is Lukman
la sostituzione di
after being
Venezia,
taken off against Venezia?
Lei ha chiesto dei consigli a lui, visto che
And have you asked him for any questions, seeing as Lukman has been coached by Brendan Rodgers, the now Celtic coach? I'll ask Rodgers for any tips and advice. The only doubts are in defence, as I've said. As for the rest, it's pretty much the same as Sunday against Venezia. Last question. Coach, you spoke about Brendan Rodgers. He defined Atalanta as the best man-marking team in the world. What do you think about this? As for Mario? Tomorrow will be 60 competitions in Europe for you tomorrow. I'm losing count of all these numbers, I must be honest. Goals, matches. I don't think about it, to be honest. I take to the pitch and try to do well. That's it. I don't know if Atalanta are the best in the world when it comes to man marking. I don't know man marking. I know marking. Marking or cover or positional play. But the fact that we are considered is something that makes me very happy.
Credo che l'Atalanta sia qualche cosa di più,
I think we are more than that, though, however.
però evidentemente
Obviously,
accetto tutti
it's a opinion that I accept.
Grazie a tutti.
Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.